Come to sit in your cross-legged position. Spine is long, shoulders are soft. Just starting to relax, starting to connect with the present. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Feel the crown grow tall towards the sky. Soften the cheeks, soften the jaw. And place the hands over the knees. Palms can face up or down. And just take one deep, big breath in through the nose. And exhale, side out. Let's do 2 more like that. Inhale through the nose, feel the belly full, feel the lungs full. And exhale, side out. 1 more. Inhale through the nose. And exhale, side out, release, let go. Start to connect with your breath now. Inhaling and exhaling for the same breath count. So inhale 2, 3, 4. And exhale 2, 3, 4. Breathing in and out through the nose. And just adjusting your breath count accordingly. Feel the belly rise and fall as you breathe in and out. Feel yourself start to slow down. Starting to become aware of the space around you. And starting to become aware of your body, mind, and breath. Now that you have established your breath count, turn your attention towards your mind. Check in with yourself. What kind of day have you had? What kind of week have you had? And just come to acknowledge how you're feeling in this space. And now realize that this is the time to let go. Letting go of any negative emotions with every exhale. And making space for the positive with every inhale. Making space for an intention that resonates with you. Maybe you want to pick an intention for this practice, something in the form of an affirmation, such as I am calm, I am grateful, I am present. Repeat that intention to yourself 3 times. Connect with your breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And now start to bring movement into the body, rolling the head from side to side, rotating the wrists, and just breathing. Come to gently blink open the eyes. And now straighten that left leg and hug the right leg in towards your body. Setting up for rocking the baby, if the hips allow, you're going to cradle that shin, that right shin, and just gently rock back and forth, broadening the chest, lengthening the spine. If this is too intense, just simply hug the knee. Here for 3 more breaths. Exhale 2, inhale, and exhale 1. You can release that right foot to the outside of your left leg. Inhale, lengthen up with the left arm, and as you exhale, hook that left elbow to the outside of the right knee and twist. Gaze is behind your right shoulder. Sitting up for Ardha Matsyendrasana, except our left leg is straight. Inhale and exhale. See if you can twist a little bit deeper from the belly. And inhale, come back to center. Exhale, do an open twist to the left hand side. Inhale, come back to center, straighten the right leg now, and come to hug that left knee into your body. So either hugging the knee into your body, stretching that glute, or if the hips allow, you're going to cradle that left shin and gently rock from side to side, coming into rock the baby on the side. Here for 3. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 1. Releasing that left foot to the outside of the right leg now. Flex into your right toes. Make sure the sit bones are grounded. Inhale, reach up with that right arm. And exhale, twist to the left hand side. Your gaze is over your left shoulder. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And exhale, twist. Allow your gaze to take you deeper into this pose. So gaze is behind that left shoulder. Good, and inhale, come back to center, and exhale, an easy counter twist to the right hand side now. Inhale, come back to center. You're going to hover both of the legs off of the mat, coming into your low boat. So activating the core, trying not to round into the chest, but rather lengthen up through the chest. Good, here for 3, inhale. Exhale 2, inhale, exhale 1. Slowly start to extend the body, lowering yourself to the ground or just off of the mat actually. And we're going to hover here. And now we're going to make our way into bicycle crunches, just 3 on each side. So inhale, right elbow to left knee, exhale, extend. Inhale, left elbow to right knee, exhale, extend. Inhale, right elbow to left knee, exhale, extend. Inhale, crunch, exhale, extend. 1 more on each side. Inhale, crunch, exhale, extend. Inhale, crunch, exhale, extend. And just hovering just off the mat. Hold, hold. And then roly-poly yourself into a box shape. So stacking the shoulders over the wrists, stacking the hips over the knees. Good, so we're in a neutral box shape now. And we're going to come into our box hover. So tucking into the toes, you're going to lift the knees up off of the mat. And hold for 3, 2, activating into the shoulders. Exhale 1. Inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to send the bum all the way up to the sky. Allow the body to fold over the legs, and we hang in standing forward fold Uttanasana. You can grab either elbow, soften into the legs, the feet can be hip distance apart, and you can gently sway from side to side here. Allow the head to hang, really just starting to let go. And now slowly heel toe the feet together, take a deep bend into your knees, release the elbows and roll up vertebra by vertebra until eventually you're standing tall in Tadasana, your mountain pose. Making sure you're tucking the tailbone in, the shoulders are soft, feet are rooted into the mat and our fingertips are active. Inhale, bring the palms to touch, reach them up to the sky, gaze to thumbs. And exhale, fold forward in Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, roll the shoulders back. And exhale, plant the hands to the mat. Inhale, step back to your high plank, active legs, rounding ever so slightly into that upper back. Here in our high plank for 2. Inhale. Exhale 1, slowly lower just your knees, your chest, your chin, and then slide forward onto your belly, hovering the hands, come to find your low cobra. So tops of the feet are active into the mat, legs are active, knees are off of the mat, gazes forward and down. Inhale, come up a little bit higher with the chest, And exhale, move back into your child's pose. Inhale here. And exhale, send the hands wide. Lift up into the buttocks and make your way into your first downward facing dog of the practice. So welcoming any movement you feel you would like the body to have in this space. You can walk the legs out. You can maybe take a 3-legged dog, opening the hips. We're going to be here for 10 breaths in total. So at first, making any movement you feel is necessary. Maybe you want to roll into the neck. And now try to find stillness for your last 3 breaths. Also just make sure that your down dog is the same length as your plank. Make sure that the legs are active, the feet are drawing down towards the mat, and if the hammies are really tight, you can bring a bend into the knees. Inhale, we lift up the right leg, coming to find your 3-legged dog. We're going to hold here for just 2 breaths. You can open the hip if that feels good, bend into the knee. And with your next exhale, you're going to step that right foot to the outside of the right hand, come to find your lizard. This can be quite intense, so if you need, drop the back left knee, or if you want more, you can come onto your forearms. If you're on your forearms or on your hands, then the back left leg is nice and active. Here for 2, inhale, exhale 1. You're going to step that left foot up to the top of your mat, come to find Malasana, your yogi squat. So feet are wide at a 45-degree angle, the elbows are working into the knee creases, chest is broad, shoulders are soft. Good, here for 3 more breaths, finding a bit of stillness. Inhale and exhale, you can even sigh it out here. Placing the hands onto the mat now, you're going to step that right foot to the back of your mat, so coming into lizard on this side now. Again, you can take the same variation that you took for your lizard on your right side, so either dropping the knee to the mat or coming onto your forearms if you want more. Good. And now getting ready for 3-legged dog with your left leg in the air. So inhale, move back to your 3-legged dog. And open the hip, take the same variation. And then exhale, lower that foot to the mat, come to find your downward facing dog. Here for 3 more breaths. Exhale 3, inhale, exhale 2. Inhale, exhale 1. Bring your gaze forward and step, jump or float into your halfway lift. And then exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Inhale, bring the palms to touch, reach them up to the sky, gaze to thumbs. And exhale, hands through heart center, stand tall, Tadasana. Coming into sun salutation A now. Inhale, bring the palms to touch, reach them up to the sky, gaze to thumbs. Exhale, fold forward over the toes, Uttanasana. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands to the mat. Inhale, step, jump or float, high plank. Exhale, lower yourself, chaturanga, squeezing the elbows in towards your sides. Inhale, forward and up, upward facing dog. And exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog, here for 5. So in downward facing dog, make sure that the feet are hip distance apart. Make sure you're rolling out of the shoulders, index fingers are pointing toward the front of the mat. Your chest is melting towards your thighs. The legs are active, or if the hammies need, you're going to have a bend into your knees and gazes toward your thighs or your belly. Here for 2 more breaths. Inhale and exhale 1. Gaze comes forward to the top of your mat. Step, jump or float, landing in your halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, bring the palms to touch, reach them up to the sky. Gaze to thumbs, and exhale, hands through heart center, stand tall, Tadasana. One more like that. Inhale, palms to touch, reach them up to the sky, gaze to thumbs. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, halfway lift. And then exhale, step, jump, or float to your high plank. You can drop the knees here if needs be, but otherwise, shoulders over wrists, legs are nice and active, and with your next exhale, lower yourself, Chaturanga, pausing at 90 degrees. Then inhale, press yourself up, upward facing dog. Hips are drawing towards the hands, softening the shoulders. And exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Here for 5. Exhale, 4. Inhale, roll out of the shoulders. Exhale, 3. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Drawing the feet down to the mat. Inhale. Exhale, 1. Step, jump, or float into your halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, palms to touch, reach them up to the sky, gaze to thumbs. And exhale, hands through heart center, stand tall, Tadasana. Coming into Sun Salutation B now. Inhale, we sit low, Utkatasana, chair pose. The weight is towards the back of our heels. Our tailbone is tucked in. Our shoulders are soft and our pinkies are facing one another. Good. And exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands to the mat. Inhale, step, jump, or float back to your high plank. Exhale, lower yourself, Chaturanga. Inhale, forward and up, upward facing dog, rolling out of the shoulders, activating the triceps. And exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach up that right foot and then place it in between your hands, making your way into Warrior 1. So back foot is flat at a 45-degree angle, heels are in line, and your right leg is bending at a 90-degree angle. Arms are up, tailbone and ribs are tucked in. Inhale, and exhale, lower the hands to the mat. Step that right foot to the back of the mat. Lower yourself, Chaturanga. Exhale, inhale, forward and up, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting up that left foot now. Place the foot in between your hands, setting up for Warrior 1 on this side. So again, heels are in line, your back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Your left leg is bent. And you're squeezing the inner thighs toward one another. So you're closing off the hips. Arms are up by your ears and you're hugging the tailbone and the ribs in. And exhale, lower the hands to the mat. Inhale, step back, high plank. Exhale, lower yourself, Chaturanga, pausing at 90 degrees. Then inhale, come forward and up, upward facing dog. Exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Here for 5. Inhale. Exhale, 5. Inhale. Exhale, 4. Inhale. Exhale, 3. Inhale. Exhale, 2. Inhale. Exhale, 1. Gaze comes to the top of your mat and you step, jump or float, landing in your halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, sit low, Utkatasana, chair pose. Again, weight is towards the backs of your heels, the arms are up by your ears, pinkies are rolled in. And exhale, hands through heart center, stand tall, Tadasana. Inhale, we sit low, Utkatasana. Holding here just for 3. Exhale, 2. Inhale, exhale, 1. Grounding into that right foot now, spreading the fingers, or the toes rather, as if they were fingers. You're going to squat deeply, and coming into a standing figure 4, you're going to place the outside of that left ankle onto your right knee. So we're sitting low, you can bring the hands to prayer. Good, find your balance, focus on your gaze. Feel that right leg working and activating that left foot while you're pressing that left knee out, so working into the left hip. Good. Then with your next inhale, you're going to come to hug that left knee into your chest, straighten that right leg, and then send that left foot toward the back of your mat, making your way into warrior 3. So closing the hips off. We're going to be here for 3 breaths. Soften the shoulders. Try and make sure the shoulders and the heel are in line. Exhale 2. You can bring a bend into the right knee if needs be. Inhale. Exhale 1. With control, you're going to lower that left leg to the mat, making your way into warrior 2. So the left foot is parallel to the back of your mat, your right knee is bent, the shoulders are stacked over the hips and soft, gaze is over your right middle finger. Here for 3 more breaths. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 2, opening the hips, softening the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale 1. You're going to straighten that front right leg. Inhale, reach forward with that right hand, hinging from the hips. And then exhale, soften that right hand to the mat. Reach that left arm up, make your way into Trikonasana triangle pose. Here for 5 breaths in total. Make sure you're spinning that heart up to the sky. You're rolling that left hip on top of the right. Good. Heels are still in line. Shoulders are still softened away from the ears. And your gaze can either be down to your right hand, directly in front of you, or up to that left hand. Good. Inhale and exhale 1. Inhale, rise up with strong legs, strong arms. Rebend that front right leg. Flip the right hand, inhale, reach it forward. And as you exhale, slide that left hand down the left leg. Sweep the right arm up and over, coming into your reverse warrior. Here for 3 breaths in total. Make sure you're still bending that right knee deeply. Exhale 2. Inhale. And exhale 1. Coming into an extended side angle now, you have options. So your first option is to place that right elbow onto the right knee. Sweep that left arm up and over. Gaze through your armpit. So you're making a straight line from your left fingertips to your left heel. If you want a little bit more, maybe opening the hips a little bit more, you're going to lower that right hand to the inside of your right foot. Still sweeping that left arm up and over, taking whichever variation that feels good. Just 1 more breath here. Inhale and then exhale. Come to pivot on that back left foot, making your way into lizard again. So this lizard should be a little bit more comfortable than your first lizard. You can play around. Maybe you have more space now. Maybe you want to come onto your forearms. Good. If you are on your forearms, you can even take a bind. So weaving that right shoulder underneath that right knee and clasping the hands behind you. So coming into your bind. If you are in this bind, try to pull your left shoulder so it's facing towards the mat. Good. So not spinning up. And you can release the bind, come back up onto your hands. Grounding into that left hand now, you're going to roll onto the blade of your left foot, coming into your side plank. We're going to be here for 3 breaths. Exhale 3. Inhale. If you want to play with lifting your right leg, then do so. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 1. Wherever you are, you're going to try your very best to lift up that right leg and step it back up to the top of your mat. And then step that left foot to meet your right foot, coming into Malasana, our yogi squat. Just really opening the hips here. Catching your breath a bit. Inhale. And exhale, release the hands to the mat, send the bum up, heel toe the feet so that they're hip distance apart, grab either elbow, let the head hang and gently rock from side to side. Good. You're going to heel toe the feet together now, release the elbows, bend into the knees, and slowly roll up vertebra by vertebra. Stand tall, Tadasana. Inhale, we're going to repeat that sequence on the other side. So sit low, Utkatasana. Here for 3. Your hands can come to your prayer. Good. Now grounding into that left foot this time round. Coming into figure 4 on this side. Place the outside of the right ankle on the left knee. Activating that right foot. Really working that right hip. So sending the right knee down. Good. Sitting a little bit lower. For 2. Inhale. Gazes forward and down. Exhale 1. Inhale, hug that right knee to your chest. Make sure you have a good focal point or gaze in front of you. And as you exhale, you're going to send that right leg to the back of your mat, still hovering it, coming to find your warrior 3. Making sure that your hips, or rather your shoulders and heel are in line. Here for 2. Inhale. Exhale 1. With control, you're going to lower that right foot to the mat, coming to find your way into warrior 2 on this side. So making sure that you're bending deeply into that left leg. You're pulling that right hip back. You're opening that left knee. The shoulders are stacked above the hips. Gazes over that left middle finger, and the shoulders are soft. Here for 3 more. Exhale 3. Inhale. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 1. Straightening that left leg now. You're going to inhale, hinge forward at the left hip, reaching that left arm forward. And then when you can't reach anymore, you're going to exhale, lower that left hand to the mat. Reach the right arm up, coming to find Trikonasana, triangle pose. Here for 5 breaths in total. Again, make sure you're rolling that chest up towards the sky. The shoulders are soft away from the ears, and the arms should be in a straight line, so directly stacked on top of one another. Good. Opening that hip even more, so stacking that right hip above your left hip. Here for 2 more. Inhale. Exhale 1. Inhale, rise up, strong legs, strong arms. As you exhale, rebend into that left leg. Inhale, flip that left palm so it faces to the sky, reach it forward. As you exhale, slide that right hand down the right leg. Sweep the left arm up and over, gaze through your armpit, reverse warrior. Here for 3 in total. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 1. Coming into your extended side angle on this side. So take the same variation you did last time. So either left elbows on the left knee, or the left hand is to the inside of the left foot. Whichever variation you have with your left hand, your right arm is still swept up and over, creating a straight line from your right fingertips to your right toes, and gaze through that right armpit. Make sure that the shoulders are soft here. Here for 2 more. Inhale and exhale 1. You're going to pivot on that back right foot. So closing the hips off, coming to find your lizard. Again, this should be more comfortable than it was the first time around. And taking the same variation as you did on the other side. So if you took the bind on your right hand side, you're going to try take the bind on this side. So dropping that left shoulder and then weaving that arm through the space on the left hand side and trying to grab the left hand behind you with the right hand. Otherwise, whatever variation of lizard is great. So your back right knee can even be dropped to the mat if that is more comfortable. Good. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 1. You're going to ground into that right hand now and roll onto the blade of that right foot. So coming into Vashisthasana, your side plank. Good, and taking the same variation. So maybe you're using that left foot for support, or maybe you're making it a bit more challenging and floating that left leg. Whichever variation or wherever you are in your practice is good. Just listen to your body. Here for one more breath, inhale, exhale 1. And now wherever you are, you're going to try your very best to lift up that left leg and step it to the outside of your left hand, eventually making your way into Malasana Yogi Squat. Good. And just catch your breath here. And then drop the hands to the mat, send the bum up, heel toe the feet together, bend into the knees and rise all the way up, stand tall, Tadasana. Inhale, palms to touch, reach them up to the sky, gaze to thumbs. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands to the mat. Inhale, step, jump or float, high plank. Exhale, lower yourself, Chaturanga. Inhale, forward and up, up dog. Exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Reaching up that right leg now, come to find your three-legged dog. And because this is a hip opening sequence, you can bend into that right knee, open the hip a little bit. Good. Now with your next exhale, you're going to place that right foot in between your hands and rise up into your warrior two once more. Good, we won't be here for too long because I know the legs would be tired by now. But now we've been here for about 3 breaths in total. So straightening that front right leg, you're going to inhale, reach that right arm forward. Exhale, lower the right hand to the mat. We find ourselves in Trikonasana once more. So notice if the body feels any different in this Trikonasana. Maybe you can rotate the chest a little bit higher. Maybe the hips are more open. Good, but try to imagine yourself against a wall. So really rolling that back and that hip onto a wall behind you. Arms are straight and stacked on top of one another. Shoulders are soft. Here for 2 more. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 1. Inhale, we rise up, strong legs, strong arms, rebend into that right knee. And now close the hips to the top of the mat. Allow your back left foot to pivot on your tippy toes. Make your way into high lunge here for 3 breaths in total. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 1. We drop that left knee to the mat. And now flexing into your right foot, send the buttocks onto the left heel, keeping the toes tucked. This can be quite uncomfortable and painful. We're here in runner's lunge, but taking any variation that works for you. You can untuck the back left toes if it is excruciating, which it might be. You can also come to fold over that right leg if you want more. Good. And now with your next inhale, you're going to flatten that right foot to the mat. So sweeping the arms up now. Find yourself in a low lunge. The back left toes can be tucked or untucked. Make sure you're hugging the ribs in, so we're really stretching that hip flexor on the left hand side. Inhale and exhale. Place the hands either side of that right foot. With your next inhale, ground into that right foot. Lift the left leg up towards the sky. You'll find yourself in a standing split now. So taking any variation that feels good, you can pull yourself deeper into this pose by wrapping that right hand behind the right leg, lifting the left foot up higher to the sky. You can even open the hip here, so hips don't have to be square, because we want to open up that hip. And now bending into that left knee, You're going to bend into that right knee, bend into that left knee, and swivel that left knee so it comes to the outside of that right ankle. And come to sit down. So we're setting up for Ardha Matsyendrasana. You'll remember we did a half variation of this at the beginning of the practice, but now we're doing a full variation. If you are still battling to ground the hips to the mat, you can straighten that left leg. So take whichever variation you feel is comfortable. Inhale, if you're not there already, lift up that left hand, and exhale, twist to the right hand side. We'll be here for 3 more breaths. Gaze is behind that right shoulder. Good, twisting deeply, making sure the sit bones are grounded, feet or the left foot is active. And inhale, come back to center. Exhale, counter twist. Inhale, come back to center. Setting up for fire log or double pigeon. You're going to stack the right shin on top of the left shin. So both shins are parallel to the front of the mat. Feet are active, and that right foot is over the left knee. If you can already feel this is quite intense, you're going to take that right foot and just slip it underneath your left knee. Wherever you are, make sure your sit bones are grounded, and then inhale, lengthen up with the belly, and exhale, fold from the hips, folding forward, coming into your fire log pose. Just breathing here. Good, and inhale, pick yourself up. Circle that right leg behind you. Come to find your pigeon with your left knee pointing to the top of the mat. You can fold over that left knee, come to your sleeping pigeon. Here for just 3 breaths, not too long. Exhale 2. Inhale. Exhale 1. You're going to tuck into that right toe, press into the mat with your hands, and then pick that left knee up off of the mat. You're going to hold here, activating the core, activating the arms. Hold 2 more. Inhale. And exhale, you can shoot that left leg up, move to your 3-legged dog. Good. And lower that left foot to the mat, come to find your downward facing dog. Inhale, we'll reach that left leg up again for 3-legged dog. You can open the hip here, so bending into the knee, opening the hip. And with your next exhale, you're going to step that left foot in between your hands and rise up into your warrior 2. Again, we'll just be here for 3 breaths. Being a little bit kind to our legs. Make sure that you're opening the hips, the shoulders are soft, gaze is over that front left hand. Good. Now straightening that left leg, you're going to inhale, reach that left hand forward, and as you exhale, lower that left hand to the mat, setting up for Trikonasana once more. Again, observing any differences in how this pose feels in comparison to earlier. Maybe you're finding more space, maybe you're a bit more tired. Just noticing what you feel. Good, here for 2 more breaths. Exhale 2, inhale, exhale 1. Inhale, rise up, strong legs, strong arms. And as you exhale, you're going to close the hips off to the front of the mat, make your way into high lunge. So we're on our right hand side tippy toes. We're drawing the ribs in, bending into that left knee. Shoulders are softened away from our ears. Good. Here for 3 breaths in total. So on your next exhale, you can lower that right knee to the mat. And then make your way into runner's lunge. So again, sending that buttocks to the right heel, flexing into that left foot. If this is too much for the right toes, you can untuck the toes. If you want more, you can fold over that left leg. Getting a really good stretch here. Here for 2 more breaths. Inhale and exhale 1. You're going to flatten that left foot. Make your way into your low crescent lunge. So sweep the arms up by your ears. Tuck the tailbone and the ribs in. Good. The toes, the back right toes can be tucked or they can be flat, whatever feels good for the knee. Inhale and exhale, release the hands either side of that left foot. Grounding into that left foot now, picking up that right leg. Come to find your standing splits. So again, taking any variation you would like here. You can pull yourself deeper by grabbing the back of that left leg. You can open up the hips, so opening up that right hip. And now with that right hip open, you're going to bend into that right knee, bend into that left leg, and swivel that right knee to the outside of your left ankle, setting up for Ardha Matsyendrasana on this side. Again, if you need to do it, you can straighten that right leg, taking a slightly more comfortable variation for the hips. Otherwise, if the hips are feeling good here and the sit bones are grounded to the mat, you can inhale, reach up that right arm, and exhale, twist to the left hand side. Gaze is behind that left shoulder. With every inhale, lengthen through the spine, and with every exhale, twist through the belly. Make sure that that right foot is still nice and active, that left knee is pointing towards the sky. Shoulders are soft, chest is broad. And inhale, come back to center. Exhale, easy counter twist. Inhale, come back to center, and setting up for fire log or double pigeon, we place the shins or stack the shins so that they are parallel to the top of the mat. Flexing into both feet, that left foot is either over the right knee or underneath the right knee, whichever variation. And with your next exhale, fold forward into your fire log. Just breathing here. Good. Inhale, you're going to lift yourself up and circle that left leg behind you, setting up for sleeping pigeon on this side. So just relaxing here, just for a few breaths. And with your next inhale, you're going to pick yourself up, tuck into your left toes, send that right leg back and up, making your way into three-legged dog with the right leg lifted. And exhale, you're going to lower that right leg, make your way into downward facing dog. Here for 3 breaths. Good. And now lowering the knees to the mat, come to stack the shoulders so that they're over your wrists, the hips are over your knees. And we're just going to move through a very gentle cat-cow. So inhale, drop the belly, gaze comes up, and exhale, round into the spine, cat. Inhale, drop the belly, gaze comes up, arching into the back, and exhale, round into the spine, cat. Inhale, drop the belly, cow. Exhale, round into the spine, cat. 3 more like this, moving with your breath. And now come to find stillness. Coming back to your box shape, inhale, reach that right arm up to the sky, and exhale, thread it through the space on the left hand side, drop the right ear to the mat, reach that left arm forward, come to find thread the needle. Good, just slowing down as we come towards the end of our practice. Just breathing.
Le naturel, parfait. Le bonheur de 2 individus arrive à être.
With your next inhale, you're going to untwist, come back to your box, and exhale here. Inhale, pick up that left hand and weave it through the space on the right hand side. Left ear comes to the mat, reach that right arm forward, thread the needle on this side. Inhale, you're going to untwist, coming back to your box shape. We now make our way into puppy. So walking the fingertips forward, letting the chest melt towards the mat. Maybe your forehead touches the mat, maybe your chin touches the mat. Just working into those shoulders. But very importantly, keeping the hips stacked above the knees. So not shifting forward or back. Just melting the chest, arching into the back. Good, here for 3 more breaths. Exhale 2. Inhale. And exhale 1. Walk yourself back to your box shape and then send the knees wide. Come to sit on the heels. Stretch the arms out in front of you, forehead on the mat, child's pose. With your next inhale, you can walk the fingertips to the left hand side, feeling a stretch along the right hand side of the body. Breathing here. You can allow the body to move with you when you do this. So kind of stacking the body on top of that left leg, really getting a beautiful right hand side stretch. Inhale, walk the fingertips back to center. And exhale. And then moving to the other side. As we inhale, we walk the fingertips to the right, stacking the body over that right thigh now. Breathing here, getting a left hand side stretch. Good. Inhale, walk the fingertips back to center. And then come to gently press yourself up. And then scoop the feet out from underneath your buttocks, setting up for butterfly. So knees are out. We're clasping the feet. And the feet are quite close to our body. As you inhale, you're going to pull yourself forward, maybe using the elbows as levers to flatten the knees even further down to the mat. And we have a straight back here. Our sit bones are grounded, and this is quite an active stretch. Here for 3 more breaths. Then inhale, come up out of it. Straightening both legs now, we're going to come to a seated wide angle forward fold. So just walking maybe the fingertips out in front of you. Maybe that's all that is there today. But if there's more space, you can come onto your forearms. Wherever you are, know that it is okay. Just listen to that body. This can be quite intense. I find it very intense, actually. But again, make sure those sit bones are grounded in this pose. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you move the fleshy bits back. The feet are active, and you're folding from the hips. Just listen to that body. You can come out of it at any point if it gets too intense. And with your next inhale, you're going to walk yourself up. Bring the feet to touch again, but this time the feet are further away from the body, so you're creating a diamond as opposed to a butterfly. And instead of being active and pulling ourselves into this pose, we're just going to let ourselves soften and hang. So as you exhale, bring the head to the feet and just round into the spine, really just letting gravity do the work for you. Just feeling everything slow down now. Feel your breathing slow down, your heart rate slow down. As you inhale, rise up, and exhale, come to lie onto your back. You can leave the legs as are, so still creating this diamond shape with the legs, but then shifting the feet a little bit closer towards the body, lying in Supta Baddha Konasana. So the palms are facing up towards the sky, shoulders are soft. And you can bring your left hand onto your heart, your right hand onto your belly now. And just become aware of your breathing, feeling that right hand rise and fall, rise and fall. Become aware of your heart rate. Feel it slowing down. now setting up for your Shavasana, you're going to straighten one leg at a time. Let the heels fall in, the toes fall out. Release the hands from the belly and heart. Bring them alongside your body, straight, palms facing up. Shoulders are soft. This is your final pose. We will be here for about 5 minutes. Just softening, letting go. You can close the eyes. Return to your natural breathing. Calm, gentle, slow and steady breaths. And just come to bring awareness and softness to your whole entire body. Softening the face, the jaw, the neck, the shoulders, the arms, the hands. Softening the belly, the hips, the buttocks, the legs, ankles, feet. Just bringing softness and letting go. Start to bring awareness back to your whole entire body. Bringing small movements back, brushing the thumbs against the fingertips. Wriggling the toes, rotating the wrists and ankles. And then stretch the arms up behind you. Give yourself a beautiful full body stretch. Inhale here. And exhale, side out. Roll onto your right hand side. And now push yourself up with your left hand. Eyes are still closed. And come to find an easy seat, just as we started our practice. Feel your spine tall, shoulders soft, sit bones grounded. And now bring your hands to heart center and come back to your intention one last time. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.